Hi y'all, Austin here again, back with you for another video here at Beats Motel. Once you check in, you never check out. I know it's late by the time I get this uploaded and probably do a couple more videos. I'll probably be even later. It's about 9:30 right now. Uh, but I picked up a book today. I went to Walmart and picked up a book, and so it kind of inspired me to show y'all what book I got, but also do a review on an author that I think everybody can enjoy at least a few books of theirs. Um, so to tell you who the author is, it's Louis L'Amour. And the book I got today is No Traveler's Return, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the newest book that they've come out with for him. Obviously, Louis L'Amour has, if you don't know, Louis L'Amour passed away years ago. I believe his book started coming out in the late 40s, 50s, somewhere time around there. But yeah, um, like I said, he's an author that everybody can enjoy. I've been reading his book since I was in elementary, believe it or not. But yeah, this is from what I gathered. This was, I believe, his first book, or like the first book he started on and never really finished it, or something like that. Um, and Louis L'Amour is known for his Western books. But this book and one of these other books I'm going to show you are a prime example of he did not just do Western, he did multiple genres. This one happens to be, I'm going to consider um, like war history, not history, but around that. Um, Louis L'Amour was really good about um, in-depth details. I'm not sure how detailed this book is, but yeah, this takes place during the later part of World War II or right after. So yeah, uh, so these next ones are going to be, this first one is going to be an honorable mention, and there's a reason it's an honorable mention. And so this is The Lost Treasures of Louis L'Amour, Volume 1. Volume 2 is coming out in December, I believe. Um, I'm going to wait to get that one. But the reason this is an honorable mention, this is bits and pieces, chapters from books that he started to write and never finished. I believe the longest amount of chapters in here for a book is 7. But the one in here that I highly recommend you picking up for just to read. It's only 4 chapters, believe it or not. But by the end of the 4 chapters, I was hooked. And it is a Western horror. And it was so great. At the end, it gives you details. Beau L'Amour, who I believe is finishing books that Louis L'Amour started, or didn't get published or something like that. But anyways, he's dug up notes for these books, or these chapters, I should say, or manuscripts. There's details at the end of every one about parts in the book if Louis had gone through and made it and stuff. What kind of parts you could have seen. It kind of paints a picture really, but it kind of gives your imagination the chance to kind of fill in the blanks. But yeah, that part alone, just because I love horror and I love westerns, I wasn't sure how well they would mesh together. That's honestly the main reason I bought this book. And I think he was doing pretty good. For those 4 chapters, he had me hooked. And I was kind of mad that the 4th chapter is only 4 chapters. And I was kind of mad that it was only 4 chapters. So yeah, so that's the one honorable mention. And I'll give you the chance to look at this if you want to. Like I said, the second volume 2 is coming out in December, I believe. From what I saw on Amazon earlier this month, but I think it's like $50 or something like that for the hardback, which I got this at a secondhand bookstore. So yeah, so this next one, these ones are the top 3 that I highly recommend for Louis L'Amour. And the third highest one I rank is Last of the Breed. This is like I said, Louis, he didn't just do westerns. He did like books like Last of the Breed, which is an amazing. He also did like crime. I guess he delved into horror a little bit for that one book that didn't happen. But yeah, this is just a great book all around. This guy, I believe he's half Indian. Um, I think. If I'm wrong on this, excuse me. I haven't read this since like elementary. This was like the first book I read by Louis L'Amour. Um, but yeah, so he's flying a jet, and I believe he's in the Air Force, and crash lands in Russia or something happened, and he gets taken as a POW. And I'm not spoiling anything major here. He gets out of the prison somehow, prison camp, and it's all about these Russians, this Russian military group trying to find and capture him, and it's just a great book. I like to compare it, and this may be why I love it so much. I like to think of it kind of as Die Hard, but out in the wilderness. That's pretty much what it's like. Except he is definitely qualified to do the stuff he does. Um, the ending of this book is definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. It made me laugh. It's a little bit gruesome, but it made me laugh. If you've read this and you remember the ending, you know why. But yeah, you can pick any Louis L'Amour book up pretty much at any um, Goodwill, half price bookstore, any resale bookshop, and I highly recommend you pick them up. Like I said, anybody can enjoy them. There's action. There's always romance in his books. It's some sort, whether some books it's more obvious than others, and it's more drives the plot of the story, but it's nothing, it doesn't go into detail. There's nothing like sexual or anything like that, which is really good, especially if you try reading some Western books. You just pick up the cover and you can tell. And that was the one good thing about Louis L'Amour. My grandpa actually recommended him to me, and I've read Louis L'Amour ever since. I really love his books. But yeah, so that's the third one I highly recommend, and that is The Last of the Breed. If you get the chance, pick this up. And so this next one, it was a tie between Last of the Breed and this next one for second and third place. But because I haven't read Last of the Breed since elementary, like fourth grade, I believe, um, this one in second place, I've read more recently within like the last 4 years, I believe. So yeah, and so this one is Guns of the Timberland. This is just a great book. Short synopsis is back in the old Western days, when you went out west, if you don't know, um, if you stayed on a land for so many days, it became yours, and that's how the government convinced people to move out west. And so this guy staked his claim and has been out there for 6 years, fighting rustlers, Indians, in the wilderness. Sorry, I'm reading little bits on back here just to kind of remember. But anyways, and so this big ranch owner comes in and wants to drive him away, and it's a great book. This definitely, I highly recommend this one. And it's got gunfights, gun battles, and honestly, I'm surprised. I don't. Let me check to see what year this was published. 1955. I'm kind of surprised if as far as I know, this isn't a movie. I'm surprised John Wayne didn't play. They didn't make this in the movie. John Wayne doesn't play Clay Bell, who is the main character. I'm surprised they didn't, because this honestly was a great book. So yeah. So this next one is one that I believe everybody should. If you're gonna read Louis L'Amour and you're gonna try to read his westerns, this is the one that I think everybody should read. It's only it's not even 160 pages. It's 154 from my copy, and that is To Tame a Land. This is one I have read over and over. I've read this one 2 or 3 times, and like I said, it's not that long a book. So 254 pages or whatever it is, some people can get that done half a day, some people less, some people a day. But this is just a great book. This is, so far from what I've read from Louis L'Amour, this is my favorite book of all time from him. Excuse me. But yeah, this is just a great book. It's a love story kinda, but at the end, he comes to terms with this gang, the rustlers or whatever you want to call them, and it's just him. It's this guy, what is it, Rod Tyler, and he's just bad. As soon as things start looking good, bad things happen, and things start to pick up, and it's just a roller coaster, and you really feel for this guy, and it's just a great. And this isn't a spoiler or anything. Just well, slight spoiler, but it's within like the first 2 chapters. His father is killed by Indians, a war raid. They're in a wagon train, and their wheel comes off or something like that. And his father gets killed by Indians, and he's off at a distance and sees it happen. And yeah, he's raised by a stranger. Nobody really knows who he is, where he came from, and it's just a great book all around. Like I said, it's not thick. And like I said, I highly recommend this. If you're gonna go in and start with Louis L'Amour, I recommend you read this one. If you're gonna read short stories, I don't have my Beaudry books up here, but Beaudry, Beaudry's Law, and then Beaudry, those are both short stories about a Texas Ranger, and they're really great. And after that, if you like this, I'm gonna suggest you go to Guns of the Timberland. And if you want to try reading Louis L'Amour, but you don't want a Western book yet, you just kind of want to see if you like them, I highly recommend Last of the Breed. This is just a great book all around. All these books are. He's like Stephen King. He's never wrote a bad book. There's some I don't like more than others, but I've never read a bad book by Louis L'Amour. He is definitely up in my top 5 favorite authors of all time, which I'll have to do a video on at some point. So yeah. So like I said, these are the books that I recommend by Louis L'Amour. If you want to see him. Oh yeah. See. So all right, y'all have a great night.